There's one test I run that tells me more about what's actually happening inside of a couple's cells than almost any other panel available. It's called the organic acid test, or OAT test. And what it reveals consistently explains the picture that every standard fertility panel missed. The organic acids test is a urine test that measures the metabolic byproducts of cellular processes. Think of it as a window into what your cells are actually doing, not just what's circulating in your blood. It measures mitochondrial function, gut dysbiosis at the metabolic level, neurotransmitter metabolism, B vitamin status, oxidative stress markers, your detoxification capacity, and your oxalate levels. In a single urine collection, it reveals the cellular picture that a blood panel cannot. Here's what I find consistently in my fertility patients and why it matters so much. Mitochondrial dysfunction markers. Elevated citric acid cycle intermediates tell me that the granulosa cells producing AMH and the eggs developing in those follicles are not producing adequate cellular energy. This is a metabolic explanation for low AMH, poor egg quality, and arrested embryo development. And it explains exactly why targeted mitochondrial support like CoQ10, red light therapy, NAD+, is not optional in these patients. Gut dysbiosis markers. Specific organic acid compounds produced by bacteria and yeast overgrowth in the gut. The OAT identifies the metabolic fingerprint of dysbiosis, even when a stool test might not catch everything. Arabinose is a yeast marker. HPA is a bacterial dysbiosis marker that directly affects dopamine metabolism. When I see elevated HPA, I know the dopamine prolactin axis is being affected at the metabolic level. Neurotransmitter metabolism markers. How dopamine, serotonin, and the stress response are being processed. This is where I see the metabolic explanation for elevated prolactin, cortisol dysregulation, and the HPA axis disruption we've covered in this series and others. Vitamin B functional status. Not just serum levels, but whether the vitamins are actually being utilized at the cellular level. I routinely see patients with normal B12 on a blood test who have elevated methylmalonic acid on an OAT, meaning they're not converting B12 into its active form. Their methylation is impaired despite supplementation. And oxalate levels, which I find chronically elevated in women with endometriosis and gut dysbiosis. High oxalates drive inflammation, impair mitochondrial function, and deplete key minerals. This is almost never tested, and it's almost always relevant. The reason this test changes my clinical approach every time is that it answers the question I'm always asking. Why isn't what we're doing working? Is it the mitochondrial dysfunction at the cellular level? Is it gut dysbiosis producing metabolites that are disrupting neurotransmitters? Is it B vitamin metabolism that's impaired despite supplementation? Is it oxalates creating an inflammatory burden that's overwhelming everything else? The OAT test tells me, and when I know, I can target the intervention precisely instead of guessing. If your cellular health has never been assessed, your picture is incomplete. Comment root cause below if you're ready to get started.